This is Gary Butterfield.
This is Cole Ross.
And this is Monster, my podcast.
And these are the Gith and Gith Pirates.
Yeah, welcome to a shitty week.
There's a monster in my podcast.
Monster in my podcast.
Oh, yeah. Thankfully, it is only a week. We've compressed it as much as we can, folks.
We've compressed the entirety of these plot downers. Like how? So we don't like the Gith, or the Gith Yankee,
or the Gith
Zerai,
yeah.
or the Gith Pirates. But I was trying to think of why they suck so bad, and part of it is it comes down to these drawings. Like this was probably a huge influence to me in why I've never liked these things.
Yeah, no, they're not charismatic at all. There's and you know, I'm on the record as not really liking psionics. Like the systems of psionics are pretty bad. But the drawings that surround it, again, people embedded with crystals on their hover cycles or whatever, not something I want in this setting at all. And I just, for some reason, these two, both all of the Gith and psionics are inextricably linked in my mind because I think that.
Every time you've ever described the trappings of psionics, you've actually described Deckers from Shadowrun. I don't think there's actually been a D&D thing that looks like how you're describing, which is fine. Like, that's not a call out, but I'm just saying that these guys just look like shitty goblins.
Yeah.
They're zombies. Like they just look like shitty zombies.
Mm-hmm.
And what's up with Johnny Q Scratchfoot in the drawing here?
Yeah.
He scratched out the feet and left it in.
Well, no, every Gith, when they reach maturity and are inducted into the fighting tribe, they get incredibly sloppy tattoo.
Yeah. Yep, they get Gith prison tattoos.
Yep. They're part of the zigzag crew.
It's to remind them how to run away from the beholder or the Ithilid escape beams.
Serpentine.
Yeah, serpentine.
Serpentine. So is there any association? Because we have the Gith, and then later on we're going to have the Gith Yankee and the Gith Sarai. Aside from just kind of vague body shape a little bit, but not even that. They're all scrawny mummy people, but there's no connection between the Gith and any of the planar ones.
No. Well, they all come from the same stock. So the frustrating thing about these entries is there's a cool story somewhere in here. Mm-hmm. If you read desperately between the lines, it's just you already know the ending and it sucks. The setup. And there's a tribe of humans that were held and tortured for millennia by mind flayers. Totally on board.
Mm-hmm.
A woman of great power named Gith rose up. I'd like a little bit more detail here, but whatever. What does great power mean? I don't know. And then those two tribes fractured for no particular reason. And then, but now they're just evil warriors. Now they're psionic orcs.
Yep. And so it's just from those possibly cool origins, okay, yeah, but then just all of a sudden a portal can open up in front of you, and then here they come on their spelljammer ship, into your plane to wreck your campaign.
Yeah, onto your plane to wreck your campaign. It's if you started watching the end of There Will Be Blood, and it ends with him dying of old age as an oil baron. And then you go and it's you learn about his son and you're like, that's pretty cool. But honestly, most of this movie is just him doing deals and paperwork and talking about drainage flow. And
at one point he's in a train yard. Yeah.
Yeah. It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
These things suck.
Yeah. So
they're campaign ruiners consummately. And the worst thing, this is going to be the thing. I was going to say the thing that kills this podcast. It's not going to kill this podcast. The thing that's going to the hardest, the points of this podcast are going to be the hardest is the fact that fucking Dungeons and Dragons decided how many just roughly human sized warriors did we need to fight? 12, 13 different subgroups of orcs essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Every possible variation. We're going to run into another flavor of orcs this session, and it's we're going to run fucking giving me orcs.
Yeah, no, just just what they need is just one entry that is demi-human.
Yeah,
because that's all that it needs to say. Are they evil? Okay, yes.
Well, of course they are.
Then they don't groom. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're all evil. They all don't groom. These ones have psychic powers. Here's ones where there's a bunch of them. These ones are slightly smaller.
Yeah.
These are slightly bigger. It's not like flavor is important, right? Like it's not like just the fact that these things are mechanically, and these ones aren't because they have sonic powers, but
Right.
the fact that like Knowles and Orcs are, and I don't want to burn cast for that, but are like identical to Orcs. The fact that they're mechanically not that different doesn't bother me. It's that they make them flavor wise not that different.
Right,
like,
right.
They're just evil warriors.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Stop it.
these are evil warriors. Guess what? They live in hovels and in and underground in different planes. Okay.
Yep. And then we get to the pirate one, who's dressed like Halloween Jack. Like he's David Bowie from Diamond Dogs.
Yeah.
Why is he dressed up like David Bowie from Diamond Dogs, Cole?
Maybe because the artist. Oh, look at his little Dia de los Muertos armband on his left arm.
Yeah, they celebrate Dia de los Muertos and Spelljammer. Like they celebrate Dias el de los Muertos.
Yes.
In the Spelljammer setting, he's got hair gel in the Spelljammer setting. Like,
yeah, he's got like a real case of Hershey Kiss head going on.
Hey, that this illustration would be played by Jim Carrey. He looks like the Grinch, or like Mike Myers as Cat in the Hat.
Yep.
Like,
oh god, those facial prosthesis.
Oh, that's really gross. Have you ever watched any scenes from that where he's just like him making terrible like rape jokes and sexual puns and stuff?
It's real. It's no good.
Yeah, it is extremely no good. So these are so it's like what could make, like, we already have the Gith, and then we have the Giths, and it's like what makes them worse? Throw them into fucking Spelljammer.
Yep.
The cross section of everything terrible about D&D.
Yeah. And just, you know, it's a real case of like one of these things is not like the other. Like they introduce Spelljammer into this stuff. Like even the Oriental Adventures or the Al-Qadim. What is that? Even those feel like they fit. But Spelljammer's like all of a sudden we're talking about how they like pillage asteroids and space.
It takes everything about that's cool about D&D, makes it boring. Like wizards, they spend all this time doing spell jams. So like they sit around like zapping their spell hold with magic, you know. So it makes wizards suck, and then it makes mind flayers, which are like super cool, into these like interstellar warlords. And like it just, you know, not everything that's two cool things together does not equal cool.
Right.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know these aren't even cool pirates. Like we see this guy who's got his weird curved knife, like people suppose Brad Pitt carries, and he's cutting. First off, he's cutting the rigging on his own ship. I don't know why he's doing that. So second off, for all of
the thing he's standing on, he's literally going to fall if he cuts that rope.
Maybe that's his only way down.
His threat, like it's like he's having a confrontation with his dad.
You don't kill me, I kill me.
Yeah, you're gonna take over my ship, are you? Snip, snip, snip.
And even though they're in spaceships, why is he on top of this wooden mast?
Because that's what the spaceships look like.
Oh god damn it!
It's literally the
Gary.
worst.
Ugh.
It's literally the worst. I would love to I would want to go to a different universe that's exactly like our own, except without Spelljammer.
Although these guys lay eggs. That's how they reproduce.
That's like this guy's, maybe he's laying an egg.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna cut off his umbilical butt strand from like
because that's where he latched on for the gestation.
Yeah.
Yes, the time is soon.
His facial expression is what we like to call the mother's smile.
Brought to you by our backers at patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv.